Welcome back to the Zero Zenith channel. So, we've recently uncovered some information, and I've got the other owner on the phone here. How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Unfortunately, he can't be here with us, but he is joining us on the Avaya IP Office system that I got for free. So, works great. So, one of our viewers and subscribers reached out to me, telling me about some information. I would name his name, but I don't know if he wants me to name his name on the video. If you are watching, be sure to comment if you want that information disclosed. I have omitted a lot of the location-specific information in this article that I have that he provided me from 2002. And the website that this article was hosted on was shut down around 2002, so thanks to our viewer, he was able to dig into the archive website. So, the building that I thought was original, but that was built in 1958, 1960, and the later addition in the late 1970s, these are not the original buildings that were here. This started as this property was a psychiatric hospital that was built or started construction in 1910, so I'm going to read you this article. Blah, 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 mental hospital opens its doors at the turn of the century of the... Man, this is really small font. At the turn of the century, the state government authorized the construction of a new facility in blah, blah, blah town on blah, blah, blah street, now known as blah, blah, blah street. They chose a site near the town, blah, 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 just west of blah, blah, blah town. The facility would designate the Castle Brothers, an architectural firm known for designing blah, 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 blah hospitals, was commissioned in 1910 and opened its doors 3 years later. It quickly became the most famous asylum in the state of Ohio. The idea for blah, blah, blah was to be a self-sustaining town for the mentally ill. The institution was decked out with 120 acres of farmland, a power plant, water reservoir, sewer system, steam plant, greenhouse, laundry facility, gymnasium, cafe, and of course housing the staff and patients. Life at blah 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 mental hospital was as barbaric as mental wards of the 19th century, often mistreated as the 19th century would often mistreat patients because of the lack of understanding of mental illness. They prioritized a so-called therapeutic treatment that focused on group therapy. Patients who were functional spent the day working at the varying facilities around the hospital. They could farm, help raise livestock, work at one of the lumber mills or factories, or help run the cafe. Recreational activities were also offered, like spending time at the gym or playing board games. But life at this location wasn't just rainbows and daisies as they are claimed. Most of who were admitted to the asylum weren't crazy at all and were just suffering from short-term episodes. Rebellious teens, depressed young adults, and women going through menopause were often sent to this facility as a way to straighten them out. As a result of the concept of racial cleanliness, that was prevalent at the time. Like today, the general idea of mental disorders like schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, security had also become an issue as the population of the asylum exploded. By 1930, the hospital's population hit a peak of 1,200 people. The superintendent claimed that this was the maximum capacity of the asylum, yet he was pressured to take on more patients. Now, Dylan, this is... Doggone, I just said your name.
That's fine. This is where it gets where it makes a little darker turn here.
Yeah. 22 murders occurred in 1932 where a patient broke free, grabbing pencils from a nearby nurse's station, stabbing 2 nurses to death, followed by 20 other patients. Like many other mental asylums in the 1900s, grisly experiments were performed on the patients, some of which may have been part of a top-secret program called MK Ultra. Patients were subject to treatments like electroshock therapy, insulin shock therapy. Now, I don't even know what insulin shock therapy is, but that sounds like it's a really bad thing.
Yeah.
And lobotomies, all of which were incredibly controversial and considered inhumane. Duh. Now, a lot of that word is cut off right there because my printer is not printing this fine
I
print.
think pretty much
Yeah.
after from there is just some random stuff. But
Yeah,
that's
so the
the
procedure...
gist of it.
Yeah, so it says that it was used to cure depression, autism. Again, the printer's not printing that very well either. Several other relative common disorders with mixed results. Side effects included changes in brain structure. I don't really need to go into all that, but
Yeah, so totally not feeling buyer's remorse or anything, knowing 22 patients were killed on this property.
yeah. So, and that's the bare minimum. And from what I've heard from other people that have worked here, there was definitely things that were happening here up until the building's closing in 2005.
So
There was-
who knows how haunted this building is?
Yeah. So there is a tiny little picture of what the original building would have looked like on the inside, and that was from 1915. So this place has some dark history, and it's, yeah, I don't know really what much else to say about that, but I think some paranormal investigators would
I think
probably...
we're going to have to make a series of videos trying to find some of that infrastructure. I mean, it sounded like a massive complex with their own sewer system and all these different facilities. We should be able to find some artifacts, related to that.
Yeah, 100%. So if anybody on the channel knows how we could somehow locate possible steam tunnels or other buried infrastructure other than ground penetrating radar, that's the only idea that I have. There are manholes that I have popped on the property, typically just city sewer. The prints that we have do not indicate much of anything. We've looked up the Sanborn fire maps. Unfortunately, this area is not on... It's excluded from those maps. They just did not map this area because it is such a small area. The main town's mapped, but this would have been outside of town at that time.
I wonder if it would be possible to go to the state and see if we can pull the blueprints for the original complex and line that up with the parcel and see what we can locate.
That's a good idea. We have some research to do, so if you haven't been here before, like, comment, subscribe. Click the like button. Don't smash it. I don't want to pay for a keyboard. So, any closing comments, Dylan?
I think that's pretty much it. I'm just a little bit freaked out here as Dan and I have been talking about this, but also kind of excited to find the history about this and make a set of videos and just to document this. It sounds like a lot of this was kind of just swept under the rug, it didn't happen kind of thing. So I think it would be really amazing to actually, spread some light onto this and show, yeah, this actually happened, like this is a story, because it wasn't indexed anywhere. It was a lot of extensive research that went into it just to find just that one snippet of that article. And so far, that's pretty much everything we've been able to find. So I'm really, really looking forward to finding more information about this and spreading the word on this and actually documenting this. I think it's going to be quite the massive undertaking, but I think definitely worth it in the end.
Yeah. And as I've discussed before with you, even with the existing building here, there has been very, very little information on the facility and almost no information on what the previous facility that used to be here was.
Yeah.
Was it a big cover-up from the state of Ohio? Were they ashamed to release this kind of information? I don't know. This is the big mystery, and yeah, I think so. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
So, well, that's enough of us rambling on. So, cheers. Have a good one.